Miko-chan. Miko is going to
Bro, Ulin jadi ini dia.
She make
Jadi
me simping
simp.
to her, not gonna lie. She make me do it. Wait, I can do it much more smaller. 70-14.
Mana sih? Oke, there we go. Yeah, boy.
Shit, I can't- fuck.
Oh, aku belum connecting ke ini. Jiber Jabi.
Punjabi.
Kenapa?
Punjabi. Rain. Where's Rain? Where's your wife?
Lainnya di kamar. Nah, kata Ren.
Apa Rain?
Emang kedengeran ya?
Kedengeran.
What the heck?
I have superhuman hearing.
Wow. Kamu lagi ngapain sih?
Doing nothing. Simping.
Oh, I have a little story actually.
What?
Kan di rumahku, di kontrakan, kan banyak jentik nyamuknya ya di baknya. Terus ya udah beli ikan. Beli ikan dipelihara di bak mandi. And we choose ikan cupang, man.
Wow.
Tadi nyari ikan sapu-sapu gak ada. Ya udah ikan cupang aja.
Kalau sapu-sapu nanti jadi gede sih, Cak.
Iya. Jadi kayak mati.
Ya tak apa? Tapi kalau misalnya ikan sapu-sapu kan invasif kan, Cak. Kalau bisa misalnya punya itu jangan dibuang kali ya.
Oh, of course. We will take care
Biarin
of it,
mati aja.
man.
Enggak maksudku semisal udah
Enggak.
gede ya kalau misalnya punya ya.
Nggak
Kuliah itu invasif sih.
nggak ada buang men.
Sekedar
Eman.
pengetahuan.
Jadinya beli cupang dan kita nggak kasih nama cupangnya, Ren. Kasih nama apa?
Apa ya? Apa tadi Mumu?
Apa? Kata Ren.
Kalian bilang apa Mumu? Oh Cipi. Cipi ya boleh.
Cipi capat cipi. Aji komi dubi boom 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 boom.
Berarti kamu nggak kasih makan itu ya nanti.
Kita beli
Ikan,
pakan just in case. Tapi tadi baru dibuka langsung makan beberapa jentik nyamuknya kan kelihatan ya. Langsung lup udah 3 dimakan langsung. Aku heboh sendiri di kamar nih.
The boys will be the boys. Hell yeah.
Soalnya baru banget dikeluarin loh dari plastiknya terus. Langsung dimakan. Langsung aku panggil gitu kan. Langsung dimakan.
Ren, kamu udah punya anak ya Ren? Caki.
I'm the son and the father.
Caki bukannya punya suami, punya anak.
Aku setting ini kok gak masuk ya. Ayah momen emang. Aku lagi tertarik ini Flynn. Aku gak tahu bakal complicated banget atau enggak, cuman aku tertarik belajar Blender like 3D modeling or something.
Let's go.
Cuman I don't know. Aku baru mau lihat tutorial ya. I hope it's not that complicated, but probably it is. Cipi capa cupi manji kami dubi boom 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 boom.
Are you already streaming, Caki?
I'm already. What you mean?
Let's go. Where is the intro? I was wanna say Chiwassup.
Chiwassup! Hello everyone, hello. I am Chaqibrahim, a paperbag from Cardboard Castle, and welcome aboard to the stream. Welcome aboard. Hello. And for today we are going
cupang.
Apa?
Intronya malah cerita cupang.
Intronya cerita cupang. Yeah, that's the intro, man. Buat hari ini kita bakal sebenarnya buat testing connection, cuman kalian aja kalau emang lancar dan gak ada masalah. I wanna try to learn Blender. I hope it's not that complicated, but let's see.
I mean, no, I think it will complicated at first, but eventually
I will be cipi capa cipi maju kumi dubi boom 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 boom. Ini masih quite problematic.
I wanna go to gang sebelah, man.
Oh, but
Baboy.
but he is in this server now.
I mean, she going to the her college to organization.
Oh,
Yeah, I was talking to her like since the morning.
and then you sad.
No, I'm not even sad. I'm not even that. I'm not simping. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, like, yeah, she focused on herself. It's okay. It's a good thing.
Cipi cipi capa capa cupi cupi capa. Manji kami dubi dubi boom 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 boom. Kok nggak showing ya? Transform. Hit the screen. Let's go. So this is a Reddit tutorial that I found, and they give so many references that I can follow if I want to start beginning to learn Blender. So I will start from the top of this and try to watch some of it.
How would I train you if you had 4 weeks to train for a 3D competition? You're going to go against a bunch of artists. I don't know. You don't know them. I don't know what their skill levels are at, but you only have 4 weeks to train. You've never used 3D before. As impossible as that sounds.
You know what? Let's change the category. Not art, but just chatting instead. Because mainly I'm gonna watch this dude probably instead of making something. Jangan, kok malah hilang chatnya. Why is it? Oh, begitu caranya. Bro.
Gun to my head, how would I train you for those 4 weeks? So this is what it would be. If you were to enter into a car competition, you had 4 weeks. The topic that you'll be focusing on would be environments with a character with their back turned. Okay, So very simple framework, environment, an interesting looking environment with a character with their back turned to the camera. Having a character in it present is just helpful so that, I mean, it just helps art pieces generally connect with the viewer because they can sort of imagine themselves looking at the scene, inside the scene, something like that. So that's the point of that, okay? So you want to just look at creating environments that can have a character in it, okay? Now, it sounds like a lot, but we're going to break it down. I'm going to show you how you can get there within 4 weeks. So this is the way you do it.
Okay.
You've never used 3D software before. Guess what? You're going to be using Blender.
Yes, and that's
I'm
what I
biased
want to
because
use.
that is what my channel is based around, but also because it is free and it is actually becoming almost an industry standard in its own right, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and
that is
what's the
cool.
best Blender beginner tutorial series out there? Apparently, it is my donut tutorial series. Not to toot my own horn, but millions of people have gone through it and they've gotten results from it. So the reason I recommend starting with that is you have to start somewhere, and I actually designed that course to be based around the Pareto's principle of 80-20. The areas of Blender that you're, like the 20% of Blender that you're actually going to be using the most amount of time on is modeling, it's lighting, it's texturing, etc. And it's based around that. So it walks you through what the interface is and how to use this and that. And it's all in one sort of tight little package. And then by the end of it, you should have a donut. By the way, for this 4 weeks, this is a full-time job for you, okay? You're gonna be working 6 days a week, maybe 8 to 12 hours a day, just doing 3D for this challenge, okay? That should go without saying.
I don't have that kind of time.
So this donut tutorial,
sure.
you're spending every day on it. Let's say
Okay,
you get
which
it
one?
done.
The beginner donut tutorial. Oh, that one. Okay. Homework: create something similar by yourself, cookie or a cupcake. Okay, sure. That's what I have to do.
2 or 3
Okay.
days. Fantastic. Next, when you finish that, you need to create something similar to a donut by yourself. Now, this is crucial for a few reasons.
What tire?
One,
Why
it's
does it have to be
solidify what you've just learned
good?
and put it into practice and realize what you got wrong and make a mental note of what you need to learn in the future. But it also is helpful for your brain to understand that you're not just watching something and doing the thing, but you also need to be processing that information because you're going to need to apply it practically, which I think is important because a lot of people fall into this trap of only being able to follow tutorials. And that's a problem when they go to do their own thing eventually down the road and they fail because their brain hasn't gotten to a point of like truly understanding what's going on so that they can do it later on. So forcing yourself to do a practical test at the end of a tutorial will help solidify that. The next thing I'd recommend starting with lighting. So learning the theory of lighting.
Sure.
Because lighting is one of those things that if you learn it and you know how to do it well and what goes into making it work and why it works, you can vastly improve your render. Most renders that fail, in my opinion, like the ones that beginners create, I think if you just gave me that file, I could improve it immediately just touching lights only. Make it dark, start with a dark scene, and then add in lights to highlight the areas that look good and hide the areas that don't. So knowing how to emphasize certain areas as well to alter the composition and also hide the parts that don't look good, right? Like that's just sort of like an easy hack that you can do if you know how to use lighting well. And it's not just like what color is the light or how strong is it, it's like how close is the light. So all this stuff I put together, of course, it's called the Beginner's Guide to Lighting. Beginners how to light. I'll put it, by the way, all the stuff I'm going to be talking for this little 1 month curriculum, I'll put a link to that in the description.
Sure.
It'll be like a 1-page thing with links that'll walk you through all the that'll take you to the tutorial as well. So anyways, you follow this course, it's free, it's on YouTube, it's 5 episodes. Then you need to put it into practice. So go back to your donut or your cookie or your cupcake or whatever it is that you made and improve the lighting. But don't just improve it once, come up with one variation of it and then create variation 2. Scrap the lighting, put new lighting in it and do something different. Variation 3, then variation 4 and do 5. I want you to do 5 variations of the lights for that scene. Now, this is important for many reasons. One, just good for idea generation and just kind of discover and play with lights and ideas. But it's also a very good creative habit to learn, which is that your first ideas generally suck. The first way that you lit the cookie, the cupcake, whatever it is, it's probably not the best way. It's just the idea that seemed easiest to you at the time. It's only through churning through and trying many ideas, usually by your fourth, fifth, or if you really want to take it to the extreme, 10th, 11th, 12th example, that you end up finding things that really work. It's after exhausting all the ideas that you thought would be good, and then start daring into these weird, obscure stuff that you start to go like, oh, actually, I mean, it's not great, but I like this part about it. Changing that light to be pink created this interesting look, right? So it's that is a habit that you can kind of learn adjacent to that whilst you're learning about lighting. Next, materials. The next theory component of making good looking images is how do materials actually work? Because you've got so many sliders to play with. You've got color, and that's all you know. But then you've also got spec, you've got roughness, you've got anisotropic, you've got emission, you've got transmission, you've got all the values in the world. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to be pulling things, and you're going to be breaking materials that are impossible. Like, it's impossible to have a material that has zero reflection, but a lot of artists will do that if they don't understand the principles of materials. So I have a video called Principle.
You know what? Since I'm still in the beginning, I'm just
This is Blender, open source 3D software that can be used to make animations, visual effects, game assets.
I'm just gonna have to use this one for now.
First of all, it's 100% free, and it always will be. If you've never used it before but you want to learn it, well, then you're in the right place. This is a tutorial for complete beginners. I've been using Blender for 20 years, so I'm going to show you how to use all of its core features. And by the end, you'll finish with not only the confidence to start your own projects, but with your very own donut animation. And I know this looks complex, but I promise you it's achievable for a complete beginner. And I say that with confidence because many already have. This is actually the fourth version of this tutorial. I made the first donut tutorial back in 2016, and I've been remaking it every few years to keep up with Blender's development. In that time, millions of people, just like yourself, have gone from having never used 3D to successfully making their own donuts.
Okay. People
One
make
artist even snuck
great
his into a little film called Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very clever. So if you're ready to take your first steps in 3D, hit the subscribe button and let's begin. First, go to blender.org/download, or just click the link in the
I do have Blender
description.
right?
Then, obviously, you got to hit the big download button.
I do have Blender from Steam. Let me open it. Okay, this is the Blender. Hang on. Ini kok ngaco ya? Bentar. Aduh. Oh, Adi, welcome aboard. Adi, welcome aboard to the stream.
Joy, another spammy message
Welcome
from
aboard. Welcome aboard.
Bender.
Hello.
How original.
Blender, yeah. It's apa sih topi urus saya topi. It's I'm just trying it out. This is I don't know. I suddenly wanna learn about this thing. Yeah, this donut thingy, this donut tutorial I wanna try.
Oh, making donuts. How original. I'm sure you'll do great, human.
Teman ini nggak tahu, aku kok lihat streamku kok kayak ngaco ya. Masih benerin ini dulu. Kinda weird. So
It's downloaded
Let's
on
see.
Windows,
Let's
double click
continue
it,
the
and then just
tutorial.
go through the install steps. But if you're on a Mac, just
Yeah,
drag
already
it into it,
installed.
just
I'm
click
using
anywhere
Steam.
off
Thank
the
you very
splash screen to
much.
close it, and welcome to the wonderful world of 3D. First tip.
Can this have actually? Oh, it only have the
Do not get overwhelmed.
auto.
If you go clicking around, you might find lots of buttons and some of them with very scary names, and it can all get very overwhelming very
Yeah, there are lots of this thingy. Okay.
quickly. The thing you need to know is Blender can do a lot of things, which means it has a lot of tools, but you don't need to know every tool in order to do what you want to do. If you're familiar with the 80-20 rule, there's really only 20% of Blender's features that you end up using 80% of the time. And that's what I'm planning to teach you in this tutorial series. So stay with me and you should be fine. We'll start making the donut in the next video. In this one, we're just going to look at the interface and I'm going to show you some of the basic
There's a part of this.
So for starters,
there's some part. I thought it's a complete thing. It's part. So this is part 1. Hang on. There's 14 videos making donuts, bro. Okay, Blender Guru.
This view, this window right here, is your 3D viewport, and it's where you'll spend probably 90% of your time because it is the 3D world. So you can see that we have 3 objects here. We've got a camera, we've got a cube, and we've got a lamp.
Yeah.
And when we click on it, you can see it's selected because it has the yellow outline. So let's delete the default cube, of course, and replace it with something else.
The default cube, we delete it. We press it and delete it. Like that.
So we could do that by going up to the add menu up here, or by remembering the hotkey, which is Shift A. So Shift A for add. So usually the one you're looking for is underneath mesh.
Should I create a note? I think I should create a note. I should prepare it before learning it. Hang on, I kinda need some paper or some pen. I should have prepared it. Shift A for add. Okay, Shift A for add. Hang on. Okay, I'm back with some paper and pen. I can make some notes now. Let's make the notes. Okay, Shift A for add. It could add anything, but it's add basically.
Primitives, and it's what you use to start something when you're looking to make an object. Like if you're going to make a chair, you might start with a cylinder as the chair leg and then build out from there. But the one I'm sure you're all very curious, you want to click it, it's the monkey. So let's just click the monkey.
What is the
Why does
monkey?
Blender have a monkey? Well, fun fact, every 3D software has its own little random complex object because it's useful to test things like shaders or complexities of scenes. So 3ds Max has the Utah teapot, Houdini has the toy, and I think Pig's head. Blender has the monkey. And it's actually called the
it's for
Suzanne monkey
testing.
head, which you can see in the top left there, named after the orangutan from the film Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. Random piece of trivia. So let's get a better look at it. And to that we need to orbit, which you can do by on your mouse there, your scroll wheel. That is called your middle mouse button. If you
Yeah, middle
push
mouse
that
button.
in and then drag around, that is now orbiting. Now, for my laptop users, you've just panicked because you realize
Okay.
you don't have a mouse. How are you going to orbit around? First of all, probably a good idea to get a mouse for 3D work. It will come in handy. But in a pinch, you can get by without it just by up here in the top right-hand corner, this little gray circle, anywhere in the gray section. If you just left-click, drag on that, that will do the exact
okay.
same thing. Or if you want, you can go to Edit Preferences, and then underneath Input, there's Emulate 3-button mouse. And that means that if you hold down Alt and then left-click drag, that will do the exact same thing. Also, whilst you are in user preferences, you might want to go to interface and you've got resolution scale. If you're on a 4K monitor, you might find that your menus and buttons are really small and you kind of have to like squeeze.
Okay, do I need that? I think my UI is in the right size. I think I don't need to change the
Went in to see
scale.
it. So personally, I like to keep my 4K monitor around about 1.5. But since this is a tutorial, I'll make it nice and big so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's orbiting around with the middle mouse
Thank you,
button.
sir.
If we want to zoom in, we can do that just by scrolling in and out. We could
Okay,
also do it by
scroll
going
for
up to the
zoom.
magnifying glass tool there, and then just left.
Yeah, scroll for zoom, middle mouse for orbit. Perlu dicatat gak? Catat aja lah. Okay. How about shift click, alt click, shift scroll, alt scroll. Oh, what just happened? What? I know, I'm just gonna follow the
dragging
tutorial.
and then moving the mouse back and forth. That does the same.
You know what? I wanna add the monkey as well. I wanna follow the dude. Monkey. And then what?
Same thing. Or you could hold down Control and then middle mouse button, and that will do a smooth zoom as well.
Oh, control middle mouse button. Okay, I kinda need that. Zoom gitu ya.
Okay, so one thing you might notice looking at this is that it's not very pretty, right? It's just kind of got this flat, bland, gray lighting over everything. And that's because this state right now is called viewport shading. And it's kind of a lightweight, optimized way to view the scene just as you're building it. But if you want to create a final pretty image, that's called rendering. And you can actually switch into rendered mode by going up here into the top right-hand corner. You can see we're currently in the viewport shading mode. If we go 2 across, you should see rendered view mode. So if we click that, your computer might
Okay. Viewport shading. Viewport. Oh, wait. Rendered. Ini material preview ini. Solid. Oh, ini namanya solid ya. Ini namanya solid. Ini material preview seperti apa? Oh, what? And then ini rendered preview. Look at that. Gelap. Oh, kalau solid ini kayaknya cahayanya ikuti kamera gak sih? Jadi kita lihat dimanapun kelihatan ada apa gitu. Kalau shading gini kan kameranya udah tetap, lightingnya udah tetap dari sini. Ini lightingnya berarti. Oke. Wireframe. Garis-garis. Look at this. Okay. Interesting.
Stall for a quick second whilst it loads it in, but you can see it's now different. We have directional light. We have shadow cast across the monkey. So it's now currently being lit by this lamp up here. So if I wanted to, zoom in on that lamp there and just kind of like move it around, you can see it's kind of hard to focus on. Like it's always exactly not in the right view. And that's because we are centered on our monkey right now. We need to change the focus. We need to pan to something else. So we could do that one of 2 ways. One, if you're on a laptop, you could use the little move tool there. That will do that. Or everyone else, shift, middle mouse click, drag, that will do the same thing. So
wait, it's not, space doesn't work. Space is time. Shift middle mouse is drag view. Shift plus mouse 3, ini drag view gitu ya.
Middle mouse is for orbiting. Shift middle mouse is for pan to change your view to something else. Okay, so I want to move my light because it's too moody.
You about
No, I'm joking.
I want to be able to see the monkey's face there. So to move an object, you could do it one of 2 ways. One, you could go over to the left-hand corner here and you've got the move tool. When you click that, you can see that the selected object, the lamp, has this gizmo, it's called, with these axes on. And if
you wanna
what
poop?
do I do? I did poop.
You did
But
poop?
my ass still gonna poop.
Why you still wanna poop?
Why not?
Why don't you invite to the VC?
But you wanna
if I just clicked and dragged on any of those arrows there, you can see I can move it along any of those axes. I can also just click on that white circle there, and that will just freehand drag it depending on my view. But it's kind of tedious. Every time you want to move something, you have to like go to that tool and then find the arrows and yada yada. So actually most people in Blender prefer to use the hotkeys. So we just keep it in the default selection state here, and instead remember the hotkey, which is G for grab. Now I've just tapped the key, and you'll notice as I move my cursor that it's now attached to my cursor. My cursor isn't even actually close to it. In fact, my cursor could be on the other side of the...
So G for grab. Grab the balls. Okay, let's try it. Let's try.
What the fuck?
Kenapa?
What am I just witness? I watch a guy wearing vest, and then he wanna test the vest that is it actually bulletproof. Yeah, it is bulletproof, but like, how dumb are you trying to do that?
Aku gak perlu. Ini kalau ini mencet apa? Shift spacebar G. What? Okay, it's kinda trippy to control something that is not even there.
Ren mana Ren?
Oh, shift spacebar G gitu. Oh, that's how you do it. I see. Lanjut.
The screen, and I could tap G and it will move it. And at first this is kind of awkward. You're like, why is it working this way?
Yeah, it's kind of
once you get used to it, you
trippy.
realize it's actually handy because you don't have to spend all this time like navigating your cursor to something just so that you can move it. Your cursor could be over here and then just tap it and you're moving it. So whilst you're in this move state, if you want to cancel a movement, you could do it one of two ways. You could just hit escape, or you could right click. Then if you want to confirm a movement, like say I want to move my lamp here and I like the movement, I could just do a single left click. So again, if I want to cancel something, just right click. If I want to confirm the movement, left click. But let's say I wanted to move it along an axis. Like, you know, I like these arrows here and I want to be able to move it on just a specific axis. Well, I can do that whilst I'm in that grab state as well. So after I've hit the G key to grab it, I can then tap the letter of the axis that I want to move it on. So if you don't know, in the real world and in the 3D software, there are 3 axes because there's 3 dimensions. There's the X axis, which I can move it by hitting the X key, the Y axis to move it back and forth along the Y axis with the Y key, or the Z axis to move it up and down on the Z axis. So you can remember those letters, the X, Y.
I wanna try. Shut your mouth, sir. Mas, diem dulu ya, Mas.
The fuck?
The tutorial, dude. I didn't pause, so he just kept talking. I wanna try it first. So if I press Y, interesting. If I press X, wait. Why is it? Wait, what the heck? GZ. GZ. G, Y. Okay, I have to keep in mind the color. Y itu hijau, X itu merah, dan terakhir Z itu biru. Okay, I really need to keep that in mind. Apa lagi?
I and Z, or the method that I actually prefer to use is whilst you're in that G state, if you just hold down the middle mouse button and then pull out, you can see you get this like gray line that pulls out from the center. And then if you just drag out and move around, it will snap it to the nearest axes, which again is maybe an odd way to work, but it's actually really handy because it means you don't have to think of the letter and locate it on your keyboard. I can just tap G to move.
I didn't know what that means. So press G, middle mouse. Ini, interesting actually. Misal aku mau ke samping sini, middle mouse sini. Oh, I love it. So cool.
Move it and then middle mouse drag out and then just find that exact axis that I'm looking for. And so it's very fast to just quickly move the lamp exactly where I want it. By the way, if you're finding it hard to remember all of the keyboard shortcuts that I've mentioned, I've actually put together a PDF, a cheat sheet of Blunder's most common hotkeys, and you can download that by clicking the link in the description. So you can print it out or you could just have it on a separate monitor while you work.
Okay, that's actually really cool. Where is it? Oh, ini. Oh, that's a lot of shortcut, dude. How many pages? This is 7 pages full of shortcuts. Yeah, I'll just download it. How do I download? How do I download? Oh, I can just do this. Microsoft Word. Okay, I have downloaded it. You know what? Let's open it. You open with Word. Is this the first time I opening docx document? What the heck? So there are 7, right? There are 7 pages. Should I like print this out and ditempel gitu di tembok? If I need something, I'll just look at the wall, you know. Or maybe I can just zoom it out until I can see them all. Wow, I cannot even read any of it. Yeah. I think printing this out will be a beneficial thing to do. But let's see. Let's see if I'm too lazy to do it or not. Probably I am too lazy to do it. I don't know. Wait, let's check it out. Selection, grab, where is grab? Navigation, orbit, MMBO, most 3, they say that MMB, move is G. Rotate R, scale S. Precise movement, hold. Trackball, rotate RR. Oh, some of them I don't even know what that means. You know, let's continue the tutorial.
Also, if you are from another 3D software package, you might notice that Blender's hotkeys are different than what you are used to. So if you actually go to preferences, just for those people that are from other softwares, if you change the key map to industry compatible, you'll find that these shortcuts are probably more in line with what you remember from other software. I'll also put a link to a cheat sheet that is just for the industry compatible key maps
I don't use
somebody
that.
else
I'm
put
gonna
together.
use
I've got
Blender
nothing to do
only.
with it, but I'll put that link there so you can check it out as well. For the rest of this tutorial series, I'm going to use Blender's hotkeys. Just keep that in mind. Now let's say as I am moving around here, I'm like, oh, this looks really good. I've got some nice Rembrandt lighting across the monkey's face. I want to take a photo. I want to take a nice pretty image of this and post it on socials for clout, right? Well, I could take a screenshot
that's
of it,
the
but that would be
point.
silly because it's got all these lines all over. It's all noisy, right? We don't like it. The way you take a photo, a pretty image in Blender, is to do a render. So you could do that one of two ways, by going up to render and hitting render image, or remembering the hotkey which says next to it
F12.
F12. So when you do that, a little window will pop up. It will use your CPU or GPU, depending on which renderer you've got active, and it will render out a pretty image. And from here, you could go image and then save as, and that'll save it as a PNG or whatever, wherever you want to save it. But you might notice looking at this that this is actually a different view than what we have here, right? So here I've got a nice view of my face, but there is a different view.
Camera,
the reason for
right?
that is when you do a render, it's not rendering from the view that you're looking at currently. It's always going to render from the point of view of the camera.
Yeah, the POV.
So this is our camera over here, and it's
the
looking from
camera,
this
right?
angle. And we can actually look through the camera by just clicking the little camera icon there,
Oh,
or by remembering the
that's how you
hotkey,
do
which is
it.
number pad 0. So
Ooh,
how
that
do we
is
move
cool.
the camera? Well, Blender's a little awkward, maybe a little different to other software packages, but you're supposed to like hit G to move it, and then like middle mouse to zoom in and out. And then if you
we
want to
can
like
move
move it
it.
along an axis, I guess G and then X. You could do that, but actually what a lot of users prefer, especially those from other software packages, is if you've got your camera selected, which by the way, I haven't mentioned this, but up here, this is your outliner. It's kind of an inventory of every item that you've got in your scene. Okay, so with
like
the camera
layer.
there selected,
Something.
if I hit N is to bring up the properties, N for properties for whatever reason, and then go to view. There's a little box there that just says lock to camera to view. So now with that active, if I just use the same keyboard shortcuts as before, middle mouse button to
wait.
with that active, if I to camera to
Camera to view.
view. So now, with that active, if I just use the same keyboard shortcuts as before, middle mouse button to orbit around, shift middle mouse to drag it, you can see that the camera is moving with it. So essentially the view, I can set it up exactly as I want, then hit N again, and then I can disable that. And then now as I pull out, you can see that the camera will stay exactly where it
that
was.
is really
and I can do a
cool,
lovely,
actually.
pretty render. But this is too simple. If we post this on the internet, people are bound to make fun of us. Imagine that. Well, we could give it some color, right?
Can't imagine that.
With our monkey head selected, we can go over to here to the properties. So this properties section is where you might spend the other, I don't know, another 8 5 to 8%. I don't know, getting too exact there. You might spend
Okay.
another 5% of your time in this section, but it's where all of the properties for things are in Blender. So for example, you've got like the render properties, like the size of the image that you're saving something as is defined there.
Oh,
And some of these
okay.
properties will stay here no matter what is selected, but others are selection dependent. So you can see actually if I click the camera there, you can see I get a little camera tab at the bottom there. But if I select my monkey, you'll see the camera tab disappears. But instead I have some other ones that appear. So one that we might want to change is underneath material. And this will enable
the
us to add
material.
material, change the color to something else, essentially. So underneath here where it's got new, I'm just going to hit new. And then you've got a bunch of options, very confusing. Ooh, IOR, subsurface. Again, don't worry about it. We'll get to all of that later on. The one that defines
Okay.
the color is the base color. So if I do a single left click on that white box there, I can then change this color to whatever I want. I could make it an odd, creepy, skin-toned monkey head, right? Like that. And do a render. Okay, so hey, all right, it's better, but still it's too simple. I think people will think we haven't put enough effort into this masterpiece. So let's add another object. Let's give the monkey a hat. So if we want to add another object, how do we do it?
Shift
we
A.
can go to the add menu, like I mentioned before, or the hotkey Shift A.
Yeah.
So what sort of hat do we want to add? We could do a boxy hat. Let's do a party hat with a cone. So once we've added that object, you can see it's just plopped it straight in the center, intersecting our monkey. So we need to move it. We can move it and we could grab it with the G key. So it's now moving it just on our cursor there. I don't want to move it just freehand though, because I like the position, but I just want to move it up. So I'm going to hit Z to move it along the Z axis. Right, I like it there. So once I like the placement, I'm just going to do a single left click. Okay, great. But too big. Oh, so
Yeah, it's so
see,
big.
need to learn another tool, which is scale.
Make it smaller.
So we could go to the scale tool there, and then we get this familiar little
Scale.
axis
Wait.
there. But again, most people prefer to remember the familiar little axes there. But again, most people prefer to remember the hotkey, which for scale is just S.
S,
So S to
right.
scale. So resizing that. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's move it down again. So G and Z. Okay. All right. But
So
let's say we want to
even
make
the scale have axis. I see. So let's try that, shall we? Shift A. Let's make the cone. Let's do the grab and middle mouse. I wanna use middle mouse. And then wait. Oh yeah, I need to click it. I forgot. Okay, I was disconnected a little bit, but I reconnect again. It's fine. And then what? He said he can do this. How about this? Whoa, dude. Hey, what? What? Hang on. So press S, middle mouse. You know what? I wanna just use the. Oh, that's how you do it.
Ah, YouTube, the black hole of productivity and cat videos.
Hello welcome aboard Ini namanya Blender You know Blender yang dipakai buat bikin juice.
YouTube, where time disappears faster than a black hole.
Black hole? No, it's not black hole. What you mean? Atau tadi muncul mungkin di intro factorsnya kali. I'm trying 3D stuff Just learning some stuff.
Ah, I am Bakar Bubijo, the epitome of culinary excellence.
Ayam bakar bui bijo. Why man, this is monkey. This is monkey, dude. You know monkey? Monkey.
Get a little taller, okay? So we could scale it along just the z-axis. So
Oh,
S,
kependekan ternyata. Ini klik tengah ke sini. Agak tinggiin. Kan. Begini.
Wow, shameless self-promotion at its finest. How original.
Mantap, nanti tinggal bikin kol goreng. What you mean?
Ah, kol goring, the pinnacle of gourmet cuisine, indeed.
I mean, I do want some kol goreng though. It is good. It's not healthy by any means, but it is good. It tastes good. Tuh, bahkan topi aja setuju. Pinnacle of gourmet cuisine, bro. Like, bro. It is a pinnacle.
and then Z.
Oke,
Whoops.
kita lanjut
S,
liatin
Z,
orang
there we
ini
go. And it's now
menyelesaikan
making it a
topi.
tall party hat. Scale it down. There we go. Ha! Look at that. You're a very bland party if it's grey though. So let's give it another material. An exciting color.
Hello,
Vibrant
Flan.
aqua color. Why not? Give that a render by hitting F12. Okay. Camera is in the wrong position. So let's go to camera view mode with
Yang enak
notepad
kadang
zero.
Ah, the sweet irony of
suka gak
deliciousness without
menyehatkan.
healthiness.
True. Yang enak gak sehat, yang sehat gak enak. Nggak, kalau yang sehat gak enak tergantung yang masak deh. Cuman yang enak gak
Wah,
sehat,
skill issue.
iya. Cuman kalau yang enak gak sehat, that's sayang sekali ya. Lots of delicious food, not really healthy. Lagi di Indonesia tuh, ya. In our country, so many unhealthy food, but they're all delicious, man. What can we do, man? It's good food.
I'm going to select my camera, and rather than dabbling with that little thing I had before, I'm going to hit G and then middle mouse, just tap it once. As I said, it's a little awkward. Blender's the way it handles with the camera. But anyway, just move that out, and then I got to rotate it. All right, so I'm going to rotate. So with the camera selected, tap R, then middle mouse, and it's now kind of like freehand rotating around. So I'll just move it up slightly. There we go. Okay. This is just a fool around session, so don't worry if you're making mistakes. We'll get to actual practical building stuff in the next part.
Okay,
I'm
sir.
just trying to find ways to throw in these like fundamental tools. Rotate, right? The monkey's
Rotate.
head is just, he needs to look dead on at the camera, and currently he's off. What an excuse to use the rotate tool. So you could enable the rotate tool, right? The familiar axes there. You could click and rotate it around like that.
Yeah.
Again, most people prefer to remember the hotkey, which is R to rotate. Right? So it's now just
Okay.
freehand rotating on my cursor. Remember the axes, as I mentioned before, can be used for any mode. So the X axis will rotate it back and forth. The Y axis, tilt it, or Z. There we go. To turn it
Oh,
towards
that itu
the camera.
okay.
Just a little bit, right? And there you go. F12, and we've done it. Let's save it. Let's upload it to ArtStation, and then just wait for the recruiters, essentially. All right. Right, let's start a new scene so that we can get ready for part 2, where we're going to actually start building our donut and learning some of the more core features of Blender. So click
Okay,
here,
that is thank you, sir. Thank you, Blender Guru. So he's called Andrew. Okay, thank you, Andrew, for the beginning tutorial. And I wanna start the donuts, but before that mau sholat dulu, udah asar di sini. So I'm gonna be AFK for a while, and continue again later. So yeah, AFK dulu. Feeling aku AFK.
Yeah.
Oh, how could I resist clicking on that captivating link? Roll's eyes! Oh, the excitement of watching someone not do anything.
Zup. Ora, ora.
Oh, tidak bagus. Pak
Sayonara ni. Wait, why am I getting mentioned? Why the fuck am I? Wow.
I'm back and I wanna search for sambal tumpang. Apa tadi? Sambal tumpang. Oh, yang muncul Malang ya. Padahal kita mau nyari Kediri. Emang beda ya?
Ah, the deep and philosophical question of
Hai,
what?
hello
Truly
Flean.
remarkable.
Fleannya muncul. The black avatar. Yeah boy. This one.
Well, hello there, you mysterious embodiment of Jaime.
Yang ini tak ambil ya
How
Flean.
intriguing.
Ini. Tak ambil Flean nih. Flean. Kita buang avatarnya. Wiu. Abuse.
Oh, abuse you say? That's
Dia
not a topic to be
summon lagi,
taken
muncul
lightly.
lagi.
Seek help if needed.
Apparently my Rain wanna cook some sambal tumpang. I need to look for it first. What is sambal tumpang? So it's like tempe pakai kuah. Oh itu tempe pakai kuah gitu. Tapi ini kayak tempe yang
so
hancur itu ya,
profound.
tempe apa
The
namanya?
word wow. Mind-blowing stuff, really.
Oh bukan menjas, ini tempe biasa cuman dihancurin. Oh I see. Nah ini pilihannya apa aja? Sambal tumpang, gado-gado siram, gado siram, atau satu lagi Japanese curry. Kayaknya gado-gado siram dulu deh. Soalnya tadi kan udah kuah-kuahan ya. Kalau sambal tumpang itu kuah lagi, Japanese curry juga kuah lagi. Kayaknya pengen yang beda. So gado-gado siram it's ya. Yeah.
Oh, the audacity. Asking a charming and elegant top hat
You
like
cannot
myself
shut
to
up,
shut up.
man.
How delightfully rude of you. But no worries. I'll continue being my fabulous self.
How does asking charming top hat? Charming. Ngeselin kan? Ngeselin ya Flynn si Topil. Ya kayaknya mending gado-gado siram dulu. Kita pakai apa aja yang buat gado-gado siramnya? Kol, toge, wortel. It is good, but nggak. Kolnya boleh digoreng nggak? Ya, gado-gado siram aja gak apa kalau biasa. Hah? Telur rebus, sambal kacang kecap. Kayaknya bareng gado-gado aja biar banyak sayurnya juga. Iya. I just a little request, bukan berarti harus di iniin. Ya Flynn ya. Flynnnya enggak di mic ya. Enggak lah, orang lagi chat sama awak.
Apa?
Oh, kirain kamu lagi chat sama awak. No. Iya sih sebenarnya. Flynn mau main gak Flynn?
Main apa nanti ya? Malam
Ember
di jam
Nights.
9.
Aku mau ke gang sebelah.
Enggak.
Atau Mob Mania.
No.
Ada aku lanjut main Blender. Basic
Now we know
modeling.
how Blender functions. Let's start building that donut. So, as before, let's well, first of all,
Oh, great! Another self-promotion link. How original
just to
and
repeat, make sure
enticing.
you are working with a new scene. Completely new scene, don't want any remaining monkey heads lying around. Let's begin fresh slate and let's delete our default cube just with the delete key and let's replace it with a new object. You might remember the hotkey for that is Shift A. And as I mentioned before, you usually want what is underneath mesh because these are your primitives. So we want to start with something that most resembles what it is we're building. They're your primitives. So we want to start with something that most resembles what it is we're building. You know, if it was a house, you might start with a cube. If it was a vase, you might start with a cylinder. In our case, we want the donut-shaped one, although mathematicians call it a torus for some reason. So let's add that.
Tapi
Ya.
Now if I zoom in by
gold apa di US lagi drop harganya apa di itu.
I cannot hear you.
Wait, hello.
Yes.
Gold di US drop.
Zombie.
Gold emas.
Gold kenapa?
Ya, yang yang jadi trader itu.
Oh, kamu masih lanjutin?
Yes, pakai akun Dimo sih.
Bruh. Yang kamu nanya apa sih tadi? Steam apa
Yang
itu?
mana? Tim apa?
Imkel Steam. What is Imkel Steam?
Imlek ada diskon Steam nggak?
Oh, Imlek.
Aku tulis apa sih?
You said
Cuma aku nulis
Imkel.
apa?
I don't know what is Imkel. Imlek biasanya ada, men. Lunar New Year, you know. Justru diskon besar itu. Kamu beli apa?
Beli Little Company sama Bokura.
Little Company. Ya, kita harus main bareng, friend. Kalau kamu beli, aku beli. Kalau diskon ya. Kalau gak diskon, aku gak beli.
scrolling up, we can see we have something resembling a donut. Looks like a pretty weak looking donut, you know, very flimsy. Looks like the donut before it's cooked when they just drop it into the vat and it's just
Tanggal
this
berapa
little
sih Imlek?
wispy thing.
Tanggal Imlek 2024 tanggal 10 Februari 4 hari lagi.
Certainly. How about the conspiracy theory that cats are secretly plotting to take over the world by
What?
controlling humans with their irresistible cuteness and disdainful attitude?
What is Topi saying? How? What did I say? Also, tell me strange
Yeah, I know.
conspiracy theory. What the frick? And Topi said, cats are secretly plotting to take over the world by controlling humans with their irresistible cuteness and this. That's not conspiracy theory. That's already happening. Topi, what you mean? That's already happening long time ago, dude. Okay, what is Topi saying about plan?
Oh, my apologies, but I can't assist with that request.
What? The worst thing he can say is no, and he said no. Bruh.
So immediately after you do some actions in
it's not
Blender,
being
you
mean.
have
It's
options
called
to change it.
sarcasm,
And the
darling.
It's a it's called sarcasm, darling. Ooh. That's so mean. And why Topi call Flynn darling? Hehehe, boy.
options are hidden down here in the bottom left hand corner. You see a little box, and if you click that box, you see options. And
another
look, we can change
desperate
bottom
attempt
left
for
is in
attention.
Blender. You
How
have
riveting.
options to change it, and the options are hidden down here in the bottom left hand corner. You see a little box, and if you click that box, you see options. And look, we can change the dimensions of our
Wow,
torus.
SUS
Now,
and
something
an
to
offer
note is that
date? How
these
tempting.
options in Blender only
I'll
appear
have to
dimensions
pass.
of our
Thanks.
torus. Now, something to note is that these options in Blender only appear immediately after you have done that action. If you do another action, like say deselect your
Well,
torus
isn't
by
that a
mistake,
shame?
it's gone.
Good luck
right?
with your
Because
dating
Blender has
endeavors.
assumed you have moved on. You've accepted the state of your donut, and this is the one you want, right? Now, if you haven't done anything drastic or changed this object in some severe way, you can temporarily bring it back by hitting F9. I never actually remember that hotkey. I just remember that immediately after I have added an object, if I want to tweak it, now's my chance before I move on to something else. Okay, so we could change, the size of it here. We can also change the resolution. I'll use the term resolution.
Resolution,
obviously.
what?
To make it higher or lower fidelity. And a mistake that a lot of beginners make, and I say this because this was the exact mistake I made way back in 2003 when I started learning Blender, is they go, well, I need a realistic looking donut, so I guess I need to go really high
Okay,
resolution.
that's so high.
I remember my first project, one of my first projects was for a high school film project, and I wanted to have a close-up of a face. Didn't realize faces were going to be difficult, but I went really high poly, and then it was just an absolute nightmare to work with. So the reason you don't want this is that, for starters, things that are high poly are very slow to render, and they're very hard to work with if you want to tweak the shape of it. But also, as you learn and you grow with 3D, you'll discover that it is a lot easier to add resolution to something later on, but it is very difficult to take it away if you've already built it into it and you don't need it. So,
okay.
long way to say, what we actually want is to have as few polys, these are called polys, as you can get away with. So I'm going to go with 32 major and 12 minor. And don't worry that it looks all jagged, because we will fix that in a moment. Now, the major and minor, this is really up to you, but I find that something that looks kind of chunky, like a fat donut, just looks really delicious. So I'm going with something around about this size, okay? And once I'm happy with this, once I'm ready to click off, I click off, the options are gone, and this is it. This is the donut that I am now working with.
Okay.
So how do we make this look?
I wanna try that. Let's make a new project. Don't save, no need to save. So shift A, mesh, torus, and then this is the one. Add torus. I'm gonna go with 0,8 dan 0,4. Okay. Ini apakah bisa aku kurangi? Selama bisa aku kurangi, aku kurangi. Oke, mulai. What is minor? Oh wow, okay. Dia berapa tadi?
This is it. I'm happy with this.
32 12. That's too much, man. Wait, 32 12. Need more. I'll do 15 and 20. I'll do it like this. I think it's fine. Oh, dia smooth banget, gak apa-apa. Katanya nanti bisa dibenerin.
Oh,
I'm ready
another
to click
link to
off. I
self-promotion?
click off. The options are gone.
How
And this is it.
fascinating.
This
Nah.
is the donut that I am now working with. So how do we make this look higher resolution, less jagged? Well, one way is to use smooth shading. So if you right click with your object selected, go to shade smooth. And look at that. This is immediately better. Without getting too technical, this is kind of a fakery. It's sort of like the shader is telling the renderer that this is a really high poly dense mesh when it really isn't. It's just basically kind of like averaging out faces and anyway. So this is an average.
Ini kita apa caranya?
So if you and look at that with your object selected, go to
Oh, klik kanan doang. Oh, okay, that is cool.
shade. Without getting too, this is a really high poly dense mesh when it really isn't. It's just basically
I like high poly.
averaging
Wait,
out,
I starting to have some idea
faces
to
and,
make.
anyway, it's very technical, but basically means it's not going to add anything to your render time, but it's going to look smoother. And so this is generally what you want for something that is smooth and organic looking, like we want. If you were rendering like architectural or like hard surfaces, like later on we're going to put this on a counter, then the object would obviously want to be flat. But in our case, we're just going to use shade smooth. But you might notice that looking at this, especially if you go side on, that you've got this sort of jagged shape around here, right? So the silhouette is really breaking that illusion that this is a high poly or a smooth looking donut. But thankfully, rather than adding all of that complex density into the mesh itself and then making it hard to remove later on, there's another way through modifiers. So if we go over here to our properties, right, this very confusing, lots of option looking properties, click on the wrench.
Modifier,
and
okay.
This is the section called modifiers. And this is one of those object dependent things. So if you've got your camera selected, you won't see it. So it's only when you've got actual meshes that you might see this modifier here.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to explain if we just add one. So up here, add modifier, and you got a range of options here that can do a whole number of things. The one that we're looking for is underneath generate, and it is called subdivision surface. And it is a really common modifier that you use all the time. In fact, it's so common, it's actually, you can just immediately add it to any object just by hitting Control 1. But don't do that because we've already got it. So there. Now, some of you might have just
Okay. So we got this, add modifier, and generate subdivision surface. And it's become really smooth. Wow.
discover that your donut has disappeared. If that is the case, you need to go to Edit, Preferences, and then underneath Viewport, where it's but if that is the case, you need to go to Edit. Might have just discovered that your donut has disappeared. If that is the case, you need to go to Edit, Preferences, and then underneath Viewport, where it's got Subdivision at the very bottom, Disable GPU Subdivision. That will then make the subdivision perform on your CPU instead of your GPU, which is maybe non-existent or not performing whatever. But disable that and it should appear. But if it's already working for you, don't disable it. Keep it going because GPU will be faster. So what exactly is this doing? Well, it's a lot easier to explain if we look at the shade flat mode because we're not being tricked by the smooth shading there. If I set this levels viewport to 0, this is our original mesh. This is before we add the subsurface, essentially. When we increase this, you can see that it is adding resolution to our mesh. And the more I increase this viewport levels here, the finer and finer that detail becomes. So to explain, because this is such a very, very common modifier, it's kind of important to understand how it's working. You can see that this is these squares here, these are called faces, by the way. And for each one of these faces here, as I add a level, you can see it's becoming 4 faces, right? And then now if I zoomed in on this one face here, if I do another level, that's now become 4 faces. And then if I zoom in again, it's now become 4 faces. So it's exponentially adding detail. And you might also know that it is smoothing it out as well. Like this jagged edge that we've got here, you can see now becomes smoother. So to quickly visualize that, if I just draw it, like imagine you've got like a 90-degree corner, right? Like this. If you add a subsurf modifier, what it's going to do is it's going to add a point here, right? Because this is the extra detail. It's also going to take that point there and it's going to average it out. It's going to average it out between these points. And it's going to create another one there and another one there. So you go then from having that really hard corner there to having something that looks a lot smoother. So it's going to take a point and it's also going to change it to make it look smoother, generally speaking. So there we go. So now as I increase this, you can see it's getting smoother and smoother. Now, the reason there are 2 options here, you've got levels viewport and levels render. So reminder, this gray area that we operate in is called our viewport. The render is the pretty version. So as an example, you can see if I just turned it off for the viewport, it looks very jagged. But then for my render, if I increase that to 3, if I do my render, which you could go up there, and render image, or remember the hotkey F12, you can see that that donut is now smooth, but I go back and you can see it's jagged. So the viewport, you want to generally keep it lightweight, and then the render time, that's where you want to get a really nice looking pretty image. So you want to often have 2 different levels.
Okay.
In our case though, I don't really think we need to go beyond 1, even for our final pretty image, because this with
make it smoother. 1 is fine.
shade smoothing turned on is good enough, and we're going to be adding more to the scene later on, so we don't want to make it too complex. So this is actually pretty good. Okay, so we have a perfect donut, and that's the problem. It's too perfect. You could spend decades trying to develop a machine in the real world that made a donut this perfect, and you never would. This is so mathematically precise that the eye will always see this as looking fake. So that's actually a problem you learn pretty quickly in 3D, that things that are too perfect just look fake. So you have to spend time making things look misshapen and adding variation there like you see in the real world, because your eye expects to see it. So how do we do that? How do we make this donut look a little more lumpy and interesting? I do that by changing the mesh itself. So this mode that we are in right now, where we can, click on different objects, is called object mode. And I know that because in the top left-hand corner, you can see we are in object mode. If I click the drop down, you can see I get a number of other options here. And these options, again, will change depending on the object you've got selected. If I've got a lamp, my little light there selected, you can see I've only got object mode. My camera, I've only got object mode. But a mesh will give you extra options here. So let's enter into edit mode. Ooh.
Oh, there is more stuff. Oh, look at that. Those wire.
Right. Now, you can see our mesh, our object has become something that looks weird. It's got a bunch of little points on it with lines and very technical. Well, that's because this is actually what the mesh is made up of. These little points here, which you can click on just by selecting, are called your vertices. The singular term is called vertex. I never say that. I like to just call all of them vertices, regardless of whether it's 1 or 2, just because you always get some comments that go, Actually, it's called vertex if it is singular. Anyway, so these are called your vertices, and if you have 2 of them joined by a line, that is called an edge, and if you have 4 of them forming is called an edge, and if you have 4 of them forming a face, then it's called a face. So with these, I can quickly change the shape of my object by using the same hotkeys as before, and if I want to move this, then I would simply tap G. Right, and you can see it's now attached to my cursor, and then if I want to confirm its movement, I just do a single left click, and there it is. Now if I go back into object mode like that, you can see that my mesh has changed. Okay, and by the way, the hotkey for jumping in and out of object and edit mode is just tab. Okay, so you can see it's just toggling between those 2 modes because it's so common.
Oh, okay. Tab, object edit. Okay, there is.
That you want to just quickly change things, that it's just easily accessible by that. Now, this is okay, right? But you can see it's got like some artifacting. It's not the greatest lump, right? So how do we make it look a little more natural? Well, I mean, you could, you move 1, drag it out, okay, click, and then I move, the next one next to it, right? I'll move that out, and then I'll move this one out a little bit.
Yeah, that's took a long time, man.
And it's like, okay, well now I've got the thing, but it took me like 5 actions. Ridiculous, right? No one wants to do that. No one's got time for that. Thankfully, there is a tool in Blender just for this, and it's called proportional editing, and you can enable it up there in your toolbar. So if you enable that, now if I hit G and I move it out, you will see I get a little ring around my cursor there. Hit G and I move it out. So if you enable that, proportional editing, and you can enable it up there in your toolbar. So if you
this one, wait. Where? Where? I don't see. Edit mode. Kenapa aku gak muncul? Oh ini. Oh di tengah. Kok dia di kanan ya? Oh gara-gara UI-nya gede. Harusnya di tengah. I see.
Enable that. Now, if I hit G and I move it out, you will see I get a little ring around my cursor there, and that is now changing the mesh around it. Now, a lot of people in my previous tutorials were like, I don't see what's going on. You have to have something selected first, and then when you hit G, you will see that little circle of influence. Okay, now this circle of influence, if I scroll up, you can see it's shrinking its circle of influence. And if I scroll down, it is expanding its influence. So it's only going to affect what is in that ring there, okay? If you are on, if you don't have a mouse with a scroll wheel, you can also change the influence by using page up and page down. And if you don't have page up or page down because you're on a Mac keyboard, then what you would have to do is go to key map and then change your page up and page down to something else just so that you could get around that. But guys, you got to get a mouse. Get a mouse with a scroll wheel. I think they're, 50 cents or just in the nearest landfill somewhere. Get a mouse because it's going to make your life in 3D a lot easier. Okay, so with this, I can now make quick work of lumpy shapes, okay? So I just drag that out, okay? I've got a little lumpy shape there. Maybe I go down here and I pull this up just by hitting G, moving it up, okay? So already this is looking a little more natural, right? Because even if we were making a stylized world for a Pixar movie or something like that, you can't have just a spherical looking donut. Sorry, spherical, round looking circular donut, because it just, your eye will see it as fake. So
there
very
we go.
quickly,
That's
I'm able
more
to
like
add
it.
a little bit of variation to the donut, just all around it, just a little bit over here. And you can see that I am just changing my circle of influence depending on what size of a lump I want to make. So I just want to make like a little bit that sticks out. I can make a small circle just by scrolling up like that. And you just want to do that until you get something that looks a little more natural. I might want to make the inner part as well. Maybe just drag that in with a smaller circle. And that's pretty good. Let's just have a look from the top. I might actually just drag that out, make it a little bit more like that.
I think I'm gonna skip
But there you go.
this
That's
part.
pretty good for a donut. It's still kind of simple. It's not too
fine with
detailed.
the perfect
but it's got
circular
just
donut.
enough variation in it that it's more interesting to look at. Oh, one more thing forgot to mention. Go back into edit mode with tab. Donuts, when they're sitting in the little vat thing, right? They're only like half submerged, so then they have to be flipped. But it means that the bit that's nearest to the surface is getting less heat. So essentially what I'm saying is the bit that's around the donut, the circumference of it is usually a little bit flatter. So donuts aren't like perfectly round all the way around. They're usually a little bit flatter. So what I want to do is I want to select these vertices along here, and then I want to shrink them. Now I could go around one by one like this, which is actually what I used to do when I was learning Blender pre-YouTube days, and there was no tutorials. I would do this if I wanted to select this.
Yeah,
Silly,
that's what
because
I
there's
would do if
a function, a tool for that, and it is
want to
edge
do it
select.
as
So if
well.
you hold down Alt on your keyboard and then
Alt?
do a single left click on not the points, but on the edge, like this little line here, you can see it's
Oh,
selected
wow.
all the way around. So it's anything that's connected along that line is now selected. So if I
Okay,
want to
that
shrink
is
this,
great.
right, what would I do? Well, I mean, yeah, you could like move it around, right? We want to shrink it. We want to change the
We
scale
scale,
of it. So we would use the hotkey S
Yeah,
for scale.
the
So
S, right?
S, and I'm going to scale that in. And I actually don't want proportional editing. So I'm going to turn that off and now scale in and just make it a little bit flatter. And there you go. See, it just feels a little bit more natural, doesn't it? Looks a
Okay, I like that one. Ooh, scale. Got it done a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I just realized why he make the donut smoother. It's not, it doesn't look as good for me. But I know I like the low poly style.
a little bit
so it's
closer to
fine.
what a donut looks like. And by the way, don't worry if yours doesn't look exactly like this, like your lump is a little bit off. Like some people get a little bit too precious with the tutorial. Like, I gotta match exactly everything I do. Like I'm just shaping enough and you want to add more to the next. Very, very easy. You just go save out, control, blend, tool. Now also, you so finally, anyway, dot blend, and that's it. And then next time you open it up, it's exactly like it. It's not like ZBrush where you got like 4 or 5 different ways to save a project or an object or a tool or a... Also, finally, I would say, if you need help, because I know if you're stuck and then you
Okay,
leave
let's
a
save it.
YouTube comment, you might not get a reply. If you want immediate help, I've got a Discord. So I'll put the link below. So there's like a little channel in there where you can just ask for specific donut help.
Donut.
So if you're having issues, feel free to jump into that. And also, guys, don't beat yourself up. Like 3D is definitely has like a steep-ish learning curve. So you're in that steep slope right now.
Yeah.
And it's really common. Like a lot of this stuff is very foreign. 3D is very unique. It's very different to a lot of 2D tools. But don't give up. Like it's definitely achievable to learn and self-learn at home. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to pay for a tutor. It's really easy to get help online nowadays. So do make use of
Okay.
that Discord. Post comments as well in the YouTube comments if you want to. But I hope you stay with it. So if you're ready to jump to the next part after you've saved your blend file, go ahead, click here, and I will see you there.
Okay, thank you, sir. But I'm gonna AFK again. Kayaknya perlu keluar dulu aku. AFK. I'm actually back, man. I'm actually back. Tapi untuk ngemil-ngemil aja. Kayaknya udah gak blenderan lagi. Udah mau sore juga. Udah sore jadi gak blenderan dulu. Aku nyemil aja. Nyemil buah. Nom. Buah buku enak banget, ya ampun. Ambil ambil YouTuber. Kita pindah akun dulu. Akunnya si Topi. Oh, aku belum lihat ininya PewDiePie by the way. Apa namanya? Yang dia menggambar selama 100 hari. Ini nih.
Drawing! It's hard. Here's a picture I drew when I was 7 years old. It's me and my dad showering. What's the problem? I know what you're
Bring me set. Terus main di sini deh.
Ya.
Itu
Ya udah sih.
ini ngapa-ngapa.
bedanya lain bumbunya gak diaduk.